Well, hello there, friends. In our last lesson, we saw how we created various examples of switch animations. What we're going to do right now is to look at another version, which is a morph animation. Now, morphing is actually physically changing from one form to another. You can have an object morph from a solid back to a liquid, or a liquid morph into a solid. You can have an object morph from object A to object B. Basically, you can have like an apple morph into an axe, right? You can have a flower morph into a rabbit. So let's go ahead and see a couple of morph examples. So what I'll do is to create a new scene. And here we have a blank new scene, and let's create a vector level. So I'll just click on that, and we have a Toons vector level. I'll just click OK, and we're good to go. We could just start drawing. If we press B to switch to the drawing tool, I'm using 6, but you can actually switch this to any size you want and you feel comfortable working with. So what I'm going to do now is think about what I'm going to morph. I'm going to morph water shape that actually becomes a circle. And it's really good to use straight ahead animation for morphing because it really kind of helps. So first I'll create a ground because I want to define where the object is going to appear, or we can even just, not define a ground. So here I'm going to simulate some sort of organic fluid moving like that. So I'm going to go to the next frame and turn on the onion skin, and let's drag our timeline markers to any point. Basically, it just means if this loops, it's going to loop between 1 and 24 because this end marker is on 24. So on frame 2, I'm going to just keep moving this liquid form. It's just an organic form. Looks like a slime, like a blob. And it's going to just keep, falling through like that. And by the time it reaches a specific level, it's going to come together and form into a solid shape. So let's just keep going like that. And as it's going down, I'll begin to break this. Now it has, come to its full position. So I'll just start breaking the edge here. And on our next frame, we're just bringing this down again. Right, now we're changing the form. So I want it to just land at the bottom of this safe area. So that's going to be our ground. So it's now coming down like that. There are no rules to this, right? No precise rules. And it's now hit the floor like that. And once it hits the floor, it's going to, begin to have some of its parts just fly around like that, So again, this part is moving away and moving away, flying around. It's now starting to get shorter and, all wobbly like that. So I want to morph this into a square. So what I'll do is to start creating a sort of square shape for this blob, right? So let's just go again. Now it's going to start going down, but beginning to assume a shape like that. And I'm not bringing in the square shape immediately, right? So let's go again, and let's try to make it start looking like, a square like that. Let's go to the next one. Now we're getting more of that squarey form. So we're actually starting to get to a square, but it's still looking organic. And now we'll just do this here. Good. So let's see what we have here. So we actually have liquid pulls and then it becomes a square. And once it becomes that square, let's add a little overshoot right here. So on the next frame, let's add a little overshoot. And it's going to settle back into the square shape like that. And then finally, let's just close this. So it's going to go back to this guy here. Now it's on 24 and I really like using 12 frames, especially for very short animations. So what am I going to do? How do I do that? Well, let's go to our X sheet and just change our scene settings. Let's set this to 12 frames like that. And let's close this. And let's set our loop marker to 17 and let's play this. Now you might even not add the overshoot, but we can just see that this object pours in like a liquid and then becomes a solid shape. So let's go ahead and add just a little fill to this, and you can do the regular things we do like adding the background, which we're going to do in the next lesson.